But I do really believe that people can carve out their version of uncommon success. I really do believe that people can identify what financial freedom looks like for them, what fulfillment looks like for them, what a life of enjoyment and success and satisfaction looks like to them. And I think anybody can achieve that specific dream that they set out.
Guys, help me welcome the one, the only John Lee Dumas, JLD, Puerto Rico, baby. How are you doing, bro?
You know, Puerto Rico's sun is shining. Our birds are singing. Life is good here in paradise.
Rock on. Look, a common path to uncommon success is phenomenal, by the way. Especially love the stories about you and Jamie going that journey. But what I want to jump into is, can people actually achieve anything? Because I think I have my own thoughts, but I want to hear yours.
Anything. I mean, that's pretty broad. I mean, I think that there's obviously some worldly limitations on everything. Like, I don't think I'll ever, frankly, be able to dunk a basketball. And that's just a reality. I'm 5'10", I'm 41 years old. And, I think I need to be realistic about that. But I do really believe that people can carve out their version of uncommon success. I really do believe that people can identify what financial freedom looks like for them, what fulfillment looks like for them, what a life of enjoyment and success and satisfaction looks like to them. And I think anybody can achieve that specific dream that they set out.
Yeah, in reading your book and going through the content and actually following you guys for years, one of the things that's very interesting is, this essence of living a frustrated / a kind of unawoke life or a rat wheel life kind of process. Yeah, unawoke. How do people actually get to the place where they kind of do wake up and they kind of let go of good to go towards great?
Most people never do. And they will be on the last days of their life and they'll have nothing but regrets. And there's actually a great book on this called The Biggest Regrets of the Dying, the 5 Biggest Regrets of the Dying. And I recommend anybody reading who is contemplating, maybe staying in their semi-miserable day-to-day existence, because that book slaps you in the face and says, you got one chance. Life is short, but life is also long. It's the longest thing we're going to do in this world. I mean, you're born, then you die. It's the longest thing you're going to do. There's nothing that's going to be longer. I can't hold my breath as long as life is going to happen. So you need to realize that, you want to be on that final few days of your life and look back and say, you know what? Everything didn't work out perfectly. Nothing ever does. I failed. I struggled. I had obstacles. I had challenges. I made mistakes. But man, did I really swing my bat? Did I really identify my dreams, sit down and paint what could be an amazing life for me? And then I went after it. And there will be zero regret for people that did that. And there'll be nothing but regret for people that don't.
That's so true. So true. One of the things I love most about the book too is this essence of all the habits that you've kind of pulled in from successful people along the way. Like, obviously, you had thousands of podcasts, thousands of entrepreneurs, world class, all the good stuff. What are some of the successful things, without giving too much away, that people can maybe try to adopt for great habits?
Dude, I give it all away. I don't keep anything. I mean, that's one thing that we've been doing from day one, publishing our income reports, showing you all the revenue we make, all the mistakes that we make, all the successes that we have, all the failures that we have. Like, we wanted to share it all the transparency, all the everything that you can name. And the reality is this: I've been hosting Entrepreneurs on Fire for a decade. I've interviewed over 3,000 of the world's most successful entrepreneurs. This book is not my genius. This book is the genius of the 3,000 successful entrepreneurs that I've had the pleasure of speaking to and learning from. I've taken their genius, I've boiled it down into what their path to success was. And I've identified it's a very common path, a very step-by-step methodical path. It's a 17-step roadmap. And I put it into this book. Yeah. If you're interested in identifying what your version of financial freedom and fulfillment is, this book is for you. And listen, we start off step 1, chapter 1, identifying your big idea. Stephen, most people are going to die with regrets, but they'll also die without ever knowing what their big idea is, for the only reason that they never sat down and really went through an exercise or went through a thought process or gave themselves some mental time and bandwidth and energy to just even think about it. It's amazing how few people will do that in this world. And that's step 1, chapter 1. Now, unfortunately, that's where most people really make the next step, and the wrong step is they think their big idea is it. No,
Yeah.
no, that's just step one of a 17-step journey to financial freedom and fulfillment. So you still got a lot to go.
Yeah, rock on, dude. Well, look, there's I alluded to it a second ago, but Jamie, one of the things probably one of the there's a bunch of favorite stories, but one of my favorites, let's put it that way, one of my favorites is how you break down working with and attracting a mentor, i.e., Jamie in this case. I thought it was so pivotal because there's lots of conversations around mentorship here, there, and everywhere. How do you kind of see mentorship, and what did that process teach you?
So for mentorship, I just saw really early on that everybody wanted the wrong mentor. They wanted like the most successful person that they knew. That's never going to be the best mentor for you because that person is a probably so far removed because if they're really unbelievably successful right now, their journey started 10, 20, 50 years ago. They can't relate to starting their journey today. They can't even like smell it or sniff it. And that's not going to help you. What's going to help you is finding somebody who is currently where you want to be 1 year from today. That can still smell, taste, touch, remember so clearly what it was like to be in your shoes because it was just a year ago for them. And guess what? Their knowledge and information is likely still relevant because it was so recent. And so that's where everybody goes wrong. They just go off and find the wrong mentors. If people that do it right follow step 5, chapter 5 of my book, and that's finding your mentor, and they identify somebody who is currently where they want to be about 1 year from today. And of course, in my book, I talk about finding Jamie, who was about like
Yeah,
16 or 18 months into her podcasting journey. She was perfect because of the reasons I just described. And it's easier to find mentors the way that I describe it.
yeah.
And it's the right way to do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, the 1 year aspect, I hadn't considered that when I first started. I was like, that's actually pretty brilliant. I hadn't thought about like 1 year increments. Most of us, if we find mentors that we aspire to be, and maybe they're 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the pipeline. And I hadn't thought about finding the mentor even in my own life. I've got several businesses and things of that nature now, but I'm trying to shoot for over here. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe even I need a mentor that's only 12 months away, because to your point, 12 months away can give you practical steps because it is so relevant. So I love that, dude. Love that. I think the other thing I wanted to maybe pick your brain a little bit about is the actual roadblocks. You talk a lot about in the books about, especially in the early part of the book, about specific roadblocks that you faced in kind of finding your own uncommon path of success. How do fear and doubt and stuff like that play into actually not only creating the path, but also following the path?
Well, I hope people can look at me right now and realize that I'm a human being. I am a living, breathing human being. Therefore, I have fears. I have anxieties. I have stressors. I have all these things that every single human being has always had throughout all time and always will. Every single one. So when people come into my world, into my community, and they say, John, like, kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I'm scared. Like, I'm
Yeah,
a little fearful. I have doubt. I'm like, I
you're normal.
you're a human being,
Yeah.
therefore, you're going to have those things every single time. I mean, have you ever read a documentary from anybody, like from Michael Jordan to Tiger Woods to all the way down the list? Every single one of them, even when they were at the apex, the number one, like the absolute undisputed best in show, they had all those things. Because guess what? It never, ever, ever goes away. So give yourself a big bear hug and say, hey, I'm feeling these doubts. I'm feeling these fears. I'm a human being. These are really keeping all of my competition down and scaring them away. And people are quitting left and right because of it. I'm going to rise above.
Man, love it, dude. When we start looking at transformation, whether it's the early part of the journey or the latter part of the journey, I think people often forget it is a journey. It's not all or nothing. It doesn't happen overnight in many respects. And, I think people give up really just before the breakthrough in many respects on a regular basis, which I find is so interesting. When you're looking at today's environment, why was today's environment the best possible time to write a common path to uncommon success? Why now?
Well, it was for me because I had spent the last 10 years interviewing the world's most successful entrepreneurs, learning from every single one of those conversations, being mentored by every single successful entrepreneur that I brought on the show, and realizing, man, these people are not rocket scientists. These people are frankly nothing special. They're awesome people,
Yeah.
but they're nothing special. They've all taken a very common path, not a secret path, not a hidden path, not a complicated, a common path. Let me sit down and let me just demystify this path that has no mystification in the first place and show people the 17-step roadmap to financial freedom and fulfillment. And that's why I knew it was time.
Man, I tell you what, dude. You've been such an inspiration for so many people. I had the pleasure of being on your show. Gosh, it's probably been 5, 6 years ago for a brief
Yeah.
moment, and loved it, man. I had a blast, and got to share a little bit about my own journey. When we start to look at the next level, what I guess what would be the next level after this book? What are you hoping to achieve with this book, and what kind of impact are you hoping to make with this book?
So the whole impact I want to make with this book is the following. I have a large audience, over 100 million downloads of Entrepreneurs on Fire from inception, over 1.2 million monthly listens on a month-over-month basis right now. It's a big audience. And so I have people that are listening to the show and then are coming to me via email, social media messages, fill in the blanks. And they're saying, John, like, I love these stories of these successful entrepreneurs, but where do I even start?
Yeah.
And I couldn't sit down and individually explain to every single one of them how to start. That's just, there's no time in the world for that. But now I can literally say, you got 10 bucks, you got 20 bucks for the hardcover, you got 15 bucks for the audio version. Are you willing to invest in yourself? And I'm not talking money, I'm
Yeah.
talking time wise, to go through this 17-step process, to follow my video course that comes for free with the book, to download the companion PDF that we worked so hard to make an amazing addition to the book as well, and actually do the work. Because if you're not,
Yeah.
then you're never going to make it. If you are, here's the 17-step roadmap that's going to get you there.
Man, tell you what, dude, you're gonna make a huge impact with this book. I know you already have. I've already read many of the Amazon reviews. It's already got off the hook, off the chart. Man, I can't thank you so much for hanging out with me for just a brief moment today. I know you got a slam packed day. Where can everybody find the book? Where can they find JLD if they haven't already done so?
Entrepreneurs on Fire is the podcast. eofire.com is our wonderful website. And the book is at uncommonsuccessbook.com.
Everybody, check it out. JLD, one and only. All right, my friend.
Yes, brother.
See you, buddy. Take care.
I hope you liked that video. And if you did, make sure you check out this next video right here.
Forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. You're supposed to forgive immediately and trust slowly. When someone's betrayed you or someone has definitely wronged you, and you can forgive them immediately, but it doesn't mean you have to trust them.